Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Is there anyone out there? We have 0 watchers. We have 1 watcher. Who watches the watcher? Who do we got? Leave a comment down below. Who do we have today? Right now, Jen is running late. She is stuck in traffic. She is from New York City, I believe. So she is stuck in traffic. But we're delayed an hour. I'm going to go on with the show. So, is there any questions out there? Whoever's watching, because I know Whitney was watching on my IG live. We got Captain Iron Dog. I know he's watching. What do you call it? He's watching Indiana Jones. I don't know if he's going to do that now, but we have Filler Vision. Hello, Filler Vision. Howdy, 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 Filler Vision. Yes, but Jen is running late. Hello, Jacob DreamWorks. Oh my God, that's right. I forgot. Is this on Chief Brody Rules or no? Wow, Jacob DreamWorks, are you subscribed to I Want My TV Now? That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Okay, she'll be here in a couple minutes. But yeah, I'm just going to kill some time now. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. So as I'm here, I'll talk about next week's show. So next week's show, for those who are tuning in right now, it'll probably be 2 packed. I'm not sure right now. But I'm planning to unbox a bunch of stuff. A whole bag worth of Target stuff, and then I plan to do what do you call it? Reading through my yearbooks from high school, one from elementary school. But yeah, that should be exciting as well. And that might be a packed episode. I'm not sure about that, but the main focus will be the yearbooks. Also, I sort of want to do a mini celebration of life for my dead cell phone. My cell phone recently passed away. It was 6 years old. It got through a lot of times, and then one morning it just didn't wake up, and I was like, my poor cell phone. So I had to go out and get a new phone. I'm not sure if I like my new phone. It's huge. It's like carrying one of those graphic calculators around, and the screen's so big. But yeah, I have a new phone now, so there's that. And I'll be celebrating the life of my old cell phone. And I'll have a special guest who will pop in for like a little bit. His name is Win McMillan. He is a former Franken friend from the early days of Chief Brody Rules. Not even Chief Brody Rules. What was that? That was just like the Frank Ireland show? Oh my God. That was on Facebook. So that'd be like Annoying Blue Guy. I Want My TV Now. Like early days. Like early days. Like we're talking 2009, 2010. That's wild. Maybe the action trailers. I think that's what the YouTube channel was called at the time. But yeah, it's going to be a wild time. And I did a little practice run for the yearbooks last night. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to cover up. Is the school on here? I guess I'll cover that up. So this is like the yearbook for the school. And my friend was asking me, hey, is my signature in there? So I was looking through it and I realized, good thing I did a test run, because I want to keep my reactions to reading the signatures and messages genuine, but I definitely have to put sticky notes in here to help me out, because I don't want to waste any dead air trying to find signatures. I want to have sticky notes on each page of where to bounce to. So I have to just prepare myself before I do that. So that's some research I have to do. But yeah. So how's everybody out there? We have Jacob out there, and we have Cade. That's cool. We got a third person out there. Say hello, whoever you're out there. Is it Luke? Is it Whitney? Hello, we got a third person. That's amazing. Thank you for joining me tonight. Again, for those who are just tuning in, Jen is late today. She's running into traffic. She lives in New York City. So she's running a bit late. It's okay. It's okay. These things happen. You just got to roll with it. So recently, here we go. Oh my gosh, here we go. We have my guests. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God. Okay, so like people who are tuning in, like I have like all these questions here because I was so nervous because I don't want to forget anything. And I even went all James Lipton. I made some cards. But I am here with one of my longtime subscribers and a collaborator as well. TheITinFIT, Jen Seggio. Is that correct?
Seggio. Yeah, you got close.
Seggio. Yes. Hello. How are you? This is exciting.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm again. I want to apologize for being so late. If you can tell by the flag here, I went to today's Pride Parade in NYC.
Nice. Oh my God, that must be so exciting because that's huge because it's New York City. That's wild.
Yeah, it was my first. It was a lot of fun. I went to. I marched with my library. I have a job at the New York Public Library, and I support them and try to make sure that we don't that the budget cuts that the mayor is threatening don't go through. So we got a lot of support from there, which is great.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That's awesome. But yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. We have Whitney. She said Gio. Because I did an Instagram live before this, and I was like, is it Seggio? And I Googled it, and Whitney's logo, it's Seggio.
You got the Italian thing in there. Thank you, Whitney.
Whitney's wonderful. But for those who don't know, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, like Frank said, I have a YouTube channel, TheITinFIT. Thank you for getting the name right. Not everyone does. I actually started right when I was going to college. I got accepted into the Fashion Institute of Technology, or FIT, and so that's what I named myself. But a lot of people call it TheITinFIT, which is it's easy to remember, but whatever. Anyway, I just got started as you do, making Disney AVs, and I was inspired by Fantachan's Disney random crap, I forget which one, and I made Disney Random Craziness, and it's a series of, it's basically kind of like an AML where you dub over the Disney characters, mostly the animated ones, with familiar sound clips from TV shows, movies, and whatnot. And I've relatively recently got into doing YouTube poops, and I just try to have fun with that whenever I can.
Yeah, because back in the day, for those who don't know, I think everybody who knows me knows, but I did YouTube poops way back in the day. It started in 2010, I think. Because they started as 4-minute Mashoramas. I think that's what they were called.
Yeah.
Because I did the Indiana Jones one. That was the ultimate first one. And then I did Spider-Man, Star Trek, Inception, and then my YouTube channel got deleted, and I had to start fresh with Chief Brody Rules. That's a name that I kind of regret, but it's okay. I accept it now because I think you know this, but Chief Brody Rules started out as a movie night with my friends, and we're like, who's cool? Chief Brody Rules, and that's how it started. And then my original one, I Want My TV Now, which is sort of an homage to that because that was the original name. So, I changed it to Chief Brody Rules. But I think you discovered me way back then. I don't know what the video was.
I did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was one of the Disney ones. It was definitely one of the YouTube poops or Mashramas.
Yes.
It might have even been the Dark Knight Rises Mashrama you did. I'm pretty sure that might have been.
Ooh. Yeah, yep. Because I think those came first. Go ahead.
Though I will say I do think the one I keep watching or return to the most is the series of Little Mermaid ones you did.
Yes.
Way back in 2016. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I'm just pointing at Ariel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. That's right.
One of my fondest memories was way back in 2016. I was starting to see someone. We were just hanging out. I was like, hey, you want to see something funny? And we sat in this pizzeria, just marathon the whole thing, and we were laughing our asses off. It was great.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. Sometimes I forget how much those videos impact people. I just literally got a comment the other day where they're like, I watched this when I was, 14 or something. I'm like, how old are you now? 24? Just guesstimating because I didn't know what they were 14. And they're like, yeah, I'm 24 now. I was like, oh my God. They grew up with my videos.
I get comments like that too. It's just, it's weird, but really sweet.
Yeah. So I should say, I always appreciated your work. and you were always supportive of my early days, like especially when I started going over to like fan trailers. Like you were very supportive because I remember like you left comments on my real life trailer and my Christmas with the Joker like Die Hard trailer, and you were very supportive those days, and I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah,
You're welcome. I know.
yes,
You're so talented, Frank. You really are.
Yeah, yeah. But it's so difficult though because like I was going to ask you this like later on, but we'll get to it. I guess I could ask it now though, just because it's come up. But like, when you make videos, like, do you have a certain standard of when you make a video, or do you just go like, I'm just going to throw everything out there? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, it depends on the ideas I had. Sometimes I make a list and I try to remember it. Sometimes it's a little spontaneous. Right now,
Okay.
well, like I said, I do have a job now, and so I try to make something whenever I can.
Okay. So I'll go start with my questions now in order. Okay. So first up is, what inspired your love for movies?
Well, I was fortunate enough to grow up in the back of a video store. My dad owned one, Giffen Video. It was one of the very first ones on the East Coast, actually. So one of my earliest memories just sitting in the back room on a beach chair he kept and watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And it just blew my mind because, oh my God, cartoon characters are real. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
I really
so cool.
gotta love the movies from my dad mostly.
Yeah.
He's a big movie fan as well. And it just sort of like it grew from there.
Yeah. So like at that time, was it everything? Did you go to live action, or was it like mostly
It was
children
mostly
films?
Yeah, it was mostly Disney, mostly animated films. I really wanted to pursue a career in animation for the longest time. And yeah, over time I did grow to appreciate, other things as well. So
Yeah. So like, what was your favorite things back then? Like watching those VHSs and all that. Like, what was your favorite part? Was like a moment that like really stands out to you of like, oh man, when I put this in, it just like blew me away.
Even though I didn't appreciate it then, now I do miss some of the old trailers. Sitting through that, getting hyped for it, because nowadays it's just so easy to just skip everything.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's all building up to this moment where the story finally begins.
Yeah. I remember like there was a moment as a kid where like because my mom even asked me about it at the time. I was like, no, but like one of my favorite intros with like the commercials and trailers was for Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like I can't tell what that was right now because I don't remember, but I remember just putting it in and watching the previews and then turning it off. And my mom's like, "Don't you want to watch Hunchback of Notre Dame?" I'm like, "No, I wanted to watch the previews." It was so funny.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of weird for me too. It was like there were some movies where I only just liked certain parts and then would sort of turn off the film. Like,
yeah,
I know Grease was one of them. Like, I kind of like the opening of Sandy Denny Ran the Beach. I love the animated opening credits, but then I would just, because I was really little, I would just turn it off and go put on something else.
Exactly. I can relate to that so hard. Oh my gosh. So with that, so you're into movies, and I noticed, like, because I went to your channel and I did some research, like you were editing way back in like almost like the beginning of YouTube. So like, when did you start getting into editing?
Well, I always wanted to do it. I've seen so many people do so many fun things with it, even though looking back like 2006, 2008, despite how primitive it might seem nowadays, there's still, you can tell how much work they put into it, how creative you had to get.
Yeah.
And, well, we did have a computer. It was a Windows, and I attempted Windows Movie Maker, but nothing seemed to work out. Like, I had a hard time getting clips, trying to get sound on there. And I didn't really think much of it until I got accepted into college and I got my first laptop, which came with iMovie. So from there, it was pretty easy to figure out, and I just went nuts. I threw everything I could at the wall to see if it stuck, like you said.
Yeah. Like, I was looking back to your videos, just like going through, and then I was watching that Fantasia one with Judy in the sky with
Yeah, Judy in disguise with glasses. That was a song my mother introduced to me, and yeah, I was.
That one is actually really awesome, and I'm kind of shocked because like it's one of your early ones, and like it's really good because it goes with the music, and I was just like, holy god, this is great.
Oh, you just remind me. That was another thing that really inspired me back then. Do you remember the DTV music videos? Used to be on the Disney Channel.
I never watched the Disney Channel. That was
yeah, I'm not sure, but way back when it was first getting started, and definitely at least maybe into the late 90s, they had a series of music videos, usually sometimes as interstitials, sometimes in half-hour blocks, called DTV. Tried to be like kind of like MTV, where it would take a lot of hits, golden oldies, classic rock, and one or two modern things, and put it to clips of classic Disney shorts and movies. And yeah, that was a huge inspiration for me as well.
Yeah,
I did. They did release some of them on VHS, and I had some of them too. So yeah, those are the things I enjoyed back in the day.
Yeah, that was so cool though, because I was watching it, I was like, damn, like you had that vision, because like the visuals of Fantasia was like really going with the music, and usually it takes a while to get into that, but you already had that, and I find that so cool because like for me, like it took a couple of years to get comfortable with editing until like I finally started attempting bigger things, but like you already had it, and that's like one of your earlier ones. It's so cool.
Thanks. I guess I listened to the song enough. I get an idea of what I really want to do, especially if I'm familiar with the source. So,
So, do you remember your first big hit? Like, how did you like spread your videos back then? Like, how did they become popular?
First big hit. I want to say when I was doing the very, very early days of Disney Random Craziness, when I started doing the musical episodes, like I'd say that every 5 episodes I would just do like a 2-parter where it would be all different songs instead of just sound clips. And people really gravitated towards that.
So like, did you have like any like platforms like a Tumblr or like I forgot, like I know there was like chat rooms back then and MySpace, but like did you do any like promotion on that, or was it just like slowly over time?
It was just more of an overtime thing. I was mostly on YouTube. It was just a fun thing.
Okay. Yeah, because back then it was just like there wasn't that much. I remember because I would look like mashups, and that's how I found my friend Phil Dragish. He's the artist, and how I found Pogo, because like Pogo was one of like the biggest mashup artists back then.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Yeah, really like that era. So you did mention some, but like what editors inspired you at that time?
There was a Kingdom Hearts editor called Hot Pink Midnight. That's where I got a lot of the inspiration from, especially the musical ones, because they did a similar thing as well. Fanta Chan's videos, like I said before, and I know there's so many. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
There were a couple of other videos who did that with video games. They went by Tipsy McBoozerton. I don't know if they're still around, but they did some fun stuff with Kingdom Hearts, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. And I think that's all I can really think of for now. But if anything else comes to mind, I'll let you know. I'll tell you to go check them out.
Go check them out. But yeah, like I remember, like, because at that time, because probably around the same time, a little bit later though, because like that was like 2008. Like I do know he existed though. It was Waxination.
Waxinator, awesome. Yes.
Yeah, Waxinator. Waxinator was like a god. Because like when I got into YouTube poop, like the first one I ever saw was like Toys Gone Wild, and I don't even know who edited it because I think it's been uploaded so many times.
Oh yeah.
But Toys Gone Wild.
I definitely know that one.
Like it blew my mind. I'm like, you can do this? You can just throw like random clips together? This is amazing.
I don't remember if that was my first YouTube poop, but I do definitely remember seeing it way back in the day.
Yeah, because I remember I was looking at like mashup, like trailer mashup. So it was like Terminator Salvation with Attack of the Clones, or the Shining romantic comedy, or Must Love Jaws, and then all these YouTube poops and the suggestions, and I was like, what are YouTube poops? So I clicked on it, and I'm like, oh my God. It was like, this is amazing. I love this. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Let's go to the one comment that's popped up. Do you have any crossovers, favorite crossovers?
Oh, well, I don't know how many of you are familiar with an editor named Tony WDA, but I really enjoyed his crossovers back in the day. In fact, that was how we, were sort of introduced to each other. I was a fan of his videos. I commented on them, and it turned out he was a big fan of my videos, and now we're good friends.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. He did some really good stuff.
We have Whitney here. Frank introduced me to YouTube. I had no idea what it was. Really? Oh my God, I didn't even know that, Whitney. That's amazing. Yeah, because I think in study hall, I would watch a bunch of movie trailers and stuff. Because I remember back in the early days, like it was 2007, and I thought it was a fan trailer, but it turned out to be real. But it was the Die Hard 4 trailer, and for the longest time, I thought that was a fan-made trailer, but it was the real thing. I was like, oh my God, there's gonna be a Die Hard 4. That's wonderful. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. I think you kind of mentioned it already, but like maybe you could dive into more detail of like starting your Disney craziness. Like, did it just start with like music and then you slowly entered the voices, or like how did you start doing that, and what was your process back then? Because I think it's a little bit different than it is now.
I would just try to find different websites that had those isolated sound clips from films and listen to them and see, who would work with this character? How would this sound if it was this person? And just try to go to town with it. Again, it was all experimentation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, because back then, like, just coming up with ideas and just trying to see what stuck and what didn't. Like, it was just incredible. Or I don't like. Because back then I would have to like watch a movie. And then because I had like a little Tiger Toy, I didn't even have a laptop until like 2009, but I would try to edit actually using tapes and switching them out, fast forward, rewinding to do all that. That's how I did the early mashups. It was like Toy Story Fight Club and like a Pineapple Express Star Wars. It was like items like that where it's like I was like editing with cassette tapes, VHS tapes, because I would record like the audio from like a computer. I would like hold the recorder to my headphones to get that audio. It was a very different time back then, very analog.
That's a really cool way of going about it. It really is.
Before the laptop. Yeah.
I know. I would just, I didn't have a way of like ripping the DVDs or Blu-rays. So again, this was back in the Wild West days of YouTube where you could upload a whole movie in like 8 different parts. So I would just try to look up Beauty and the Beast Part 6 and
Oh my God, you're so right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, there'd be like the movie in 10 parts. And occasionally you still run into those because it's like a little 10-minute video or like 9 minutes and 58 seconds.
What, 240, 360p?
Yeah. A square. Oh my God. I love those days.
Yeah. And I want to apologize for the lighting quality up here. My ceiling fan is kind of on the fritz, so I might look kind of weird every now and then.
It's totally fine. Totally A-okay. A-okay. So let's see. So is your process any different than it was then? Is it like because back then you probably had to like make lists and probably really think about it more. Like is nowadays like is it easier? Do you still write down ideas? Like how do you do it nowadays compared to then? I
still try to keep ideas written somewhere if they come upon me. But sometimes it's all just, I'll think of something out of the blue when I'm not in the middle of editing. And I just try really hard to remember it. I don't always do. Yeah. And with so many, now I can keep so many movies and things on handy in one file, in one storage unit thing. In some ways it's easier, but it's also a little bit intimidating. Like, when you have so much to work from, where do you start?
Yes. So I would say, are you sort of like, from the sounds of it, you're sort of like Jerry Seinfeld, where he's always looking for that new thing. Or is that you, or is it just whatever comes?
Just more whatever comes.
Okay.
And yeah, I do want to keep doing Disney random craziness. I just posted a thing a day or two ago where I used a bit from Friends with a little
Yes.
Rapunzel and Aladdin and
Yeah.
and that seemed to go over pretty well with some of my fans. So yeah,
That's good.
I don't know. I don't want to be out of the game yet.
Yeah.
I want to keep up with things. I want to use, more modern bits. I just,
Yeah.
got to think of them.
That's cool. So has it been difficult to keep up with the technology and the bits and the memes? Is that hard?
A little bit. It's like, where do I guess I'm just sort of like wondering, how far should I go? What are my limits? Now that I have, again, so many options ahead of me, do I, really keep pushing with that? Do I make sure it's the absolute top quality with my effects and whatnot? Or do I just do it a little bit cheaper, use the shortcuts? Would it be funnier if it looked a little cheaper? Would it just look, oh, that could have been better? Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because that's one of the reasons why that's one of the reasons why I had to tap out, because I was like I came to a certain point where I was like, oh man, I don't know if I could keep up. Like, I have to tap out because like the technology kept going higher and higher. Like, because nowadays you have like Walter White driving Mario Kart, or have like Tom Cruise with like a little Luigi hat, and he's in the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's like I can't do that. I don't have the time.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate what you've been doing, because you've really been keeping up, and like you never really have like gone too far from your vision and what your like sensibilities are. Because like I watch your stuff now and watch your stuff back then, and it's pretty much consistent in quality, and like, but you're better nowadays, of course, because but yeah, like but I'm just saying, like, if humor wise, like you have a vision, like you're on a tour. Like I watch your videos, like I can tell that's your video.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had many people describe my videos that way, but that's really sweet. Thank you.
But it's so good though, because like there's a gag I really love. I'm like, oh my god, I could see you doing that a couple years ago. But like, it's the one with young Frankenstein, where like he's in the haunted mansion and he's like, open the door. It's so good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm pretty proud of how the Disneyland one turned out. Because especially the Haunted Mansion bit, that scared the bejesus out of me when I was a kid. So I just kind of like needed a way to show like my childhood fear when that part came on screen. Get me out of here, Mommy!
You're like Bruce Wayne. Bats fear me. I have to, share my dread. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Let's see. So I think we sort of mentioned it, but maybe there's some you haven't mentioned. But whatever are some of your favorite videos that you've made over the years?
Oh, some of my favorite ones. One of my favorites I did right now was my Wizard of Oz YouTube poop. I'm really proud of that. I was supposed to be for a collab, and the limit was just maybe 6-7 minutes, and I think some of you already know I went to about almost 20 minutes. I just ended up kind of keep coming up with idea after idea, especially because this is like coming right down the deadline. So I had a week to do it, and I think that played a part in like just getting it out there, doing as much as I could.
Yeah.
And it all just came together brilliantly, in my opinion.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because that's a similar situation with my Little Mermaid YouTube poop, because it was supposed to just be like a 5-minute YouTube poop, like my Pocahontas one, or my other video ones, like, with Masharamas. But then, like, I started writing down these ideas, and then I started editing. I'm like, this is most of the movie. I should just do the entire movie, And I started doing that, and it's just like, it just got out of hand, and it became a 12-part. Is it 12?
I think it was 8. It was 8.
That's right. That's right, because it's we call it Jason Takes Manhattan. That's 8. That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's how it started out. it just started out as like it's supposed to be 5 minutes, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go hog wild on that. But yeah, that's so cool though that you had a similar thing with Wizard of Oz, because like when you find something that inspires you, it's like you just got to work with it. Has there been any other movie like that you've been wanting to work on?
Funny you mentioned the Little Mermaid YouTube group, because that inspired me even way back then. I wanted to do that, but with Beauty and the Beast. I still have all these jokes written down somewhere. I have to look for them deep down in my drives, one of my old drives, and I really do want to get to that one day.
I really think you should, because I know that's one of your favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep. It's one of my. Yep, that's right.
Yes, I remember the list you made.
Yes. Oh my God, you remember my list? That list.
Your list of Disney movies, yeah. Oh,
wow. It turns 9 years old today, specifically.
Today, wow. Great timing.
So I feel like it's like Independence Day. Perhaps it's fate that today's the 4th of July. But that's so cool, though. Like, I kind of want to revamp the list because I'm not sure if it's changed much, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering if, anything has changed. Would there be anything you would add? Would you expand the list, or just?
I might, because like I kind of want to like recommend, because no one really talks about it, but the 2011 Winnie the Pooh movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. No one talks. You're right. No one talks about it.
Yeah, it's got like swept under the rug. I don't know. It's like some sort of conspiracy. I don't know. They just totally got rid of it. But like, I
don't want to say it's Disney's fault, but they did release it the same weekend as, I want to say, Captain America, the First Avenger, and the last Harry Potter movie. So it was like caught between these two, and it just.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're right. You're so right. Oh my God, that's right. Oh yeah, I had never had a chance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But there's some great bits in that.
There is. It does have a great sense of humor, and I always appreciate 2D animation, especially like they even tried to really replicate the sketchy look, the Xerox sketches from the original film. So that's great.
Yeah, I just love Winnie the Pooh. Like I think that's one of my dream wish movies where I could do the whole thing or like revamp it. That's like one of my dreams.
Yeah.
I never got to it just because like of fear. Like oh my gosh. But at some point, Jen, I want to get back into it. I want to do like how much longer does the program need legacy? And I want to do like the Michael Keaton because he's in Flash, and I want to do some of those gags. And I sort of want, like, I was inspired by like Twin Peaks, so like the Return, because it's like sort of like time travel and like alternate realities and stuff like that. And I sort of want to connect the entire Chief Brody channel. Like I want to connect all the videos somehow. I'm not sure.
That's amazing.
Like I have some little bit of ideas. Like I want to have, when just for example, spoilers for people who are watching, but there's a point where Shaggy falls down and then he goes to another episode. I want to have it where like he disappears, like, oh no, like Shaggy, what happened to Shaggy? And like Shaggy disappears for 20 years. And then I want to have like a reference to how The Little Mermaid ends with like little oh God, what's her name? The little the daughter of Ariel. She's standing there. I want to have that connect to the flashback of Halloween Kills, where you would just play like the dun dun, and like it'll say like September 2012, and it'll have like Dr. Loomis saying "I caught the evil," and then we have like her standing in the front yard in the Halloween Kills flashback, and it'd just be the best. It's so stupid, but I love it.
That sounds great.
At some point, I want to do that, and then there's one gag I've been dying to do. I want to have the Scooby-Doo gang break down in their mystery machine, and I want to have them see the house and say, "There's a light over at the Frankenstein place." That'd be so good. And like, I have all these ideas. I just don't know how to bring them all together.
Hey, if you ever want to brainstorm, collab, I'd be more than happy to.
Yes, we have to. Oh my gosh. I'll take that offer. I'll take that. But yeah, okay, so continuing with the questions. So let's see. We already kind of answered that one. Let's see. So there's always like milestones when we're making projects and things like that, where you're like, okay, that's the next step of my evolution of an editor. So, like, do you have any like videos that stand out to you where you're like, okay, without this video, I would never been here. So making this video, it's like, okay, that inspired me to do this, and then this mood did this. Like, do you have those videos?
Yeah, I know there are. Frank, I've made so many, and I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm a little tired right now, so I'm like trying to connect the dots in my head.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to name them all, but like you can give me like one example. Like there's got to be like one huge example.
Like I kind of look back at some of the really early Disney Random Craziness where they were like maybe 4 minutes long, and again like that 24p, and just sort of trying to figure out what I'm doing, and it's kind of humbling to see in a way how far I came in some aspects, but people still go to them and they still find joy to them, and that really makes me feel good.
That's cool.
And yeah, I think one of the peak points was maybe I want to say number 12. I think that was when I started like going bigger with like, I did the widescreen. I got more clips in. There was a great one where I did the stew chocolate pudding bit from Rugrats with Ratatouille.
Yes. Making chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I've lost control of my life.
Oh my gosh.
I managed to make Linguini running out screaming perfectly timed with Stu's breakdown. And then at the end, one of the guys in the restaurant just turns around and goes, I just like that. Like just being able to connect like the original clip with what's happening with the altered clip in a way. Just find a way to blend those two together. I love it when it comes together like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So other than editing, what other interests you have? I do know that you have like a Patreon for writing reviews.
Yes, I do have a blog, up on the shelf reviews.wordpress.com. And I mostly got started writing movie reviews, some TV reviews. I did want to start out with video reviews, but I didn't really have the technology at the time, and I was a little camera shy. So I decided to just do writing and see where that went. And right now I'm looking at the entirety of Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater.
Oh,
it's kind of a niche thing. If you grew up like the late 80s, early 90s, like I did, you might have seen them at Blockbuster or maybe in your library. It's a really fun anthology show produced and hosted by Shelley Duvall where famous actors of the time come and they reenact fairy tales. And a lot of it is really cheesy, good fun. And other times, there's some really nice creative bits. Like the Aladdin episode is done by Tim Burton, and his style is just all over the place. You can tell it's him, even though it's like maybe the first or second big project he's done. I think it came out like right after Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So in the right spot where his star was rising. So
yeah. That's cool. So like other than that, is there other things that you're into at the moment?
I'm actually also writing and illustrating some children's books, like personal ones. And I did get an agent, and I'm hoping that we'll get picked up to get published soon. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. So are you an artist as well? Like, do you draw and all that?
I do, yes. I haven't had the chance to really sit down and draw for fun in a while, but I love it a lot. My grandfather was a painter. He was a big inspiration to me, and I've always loved drawing.
Yeah, and did that run in your family? Was your father an artist or your mom?
Yes, it is something that runs the family actually. Mostly from my mom's side. She was an artist, but mostly she does sewing, fashion. She teaches at FIT. And her sister drew, and like mostly my mother's side of the family.
Yeah, because I was just wondering. I'm asking about that because I know that that's similar to me. Because like when I was in high school, I would draw a lot, And I originally kind of wanted to be an artist, but my mom, being an artist herself, she's like, she felt like the clockmaker in Watchmen. She's like, this is not a career. You shouldn't draw. You need to find something real. Because she tried to do it as an artist, but she couldn't really, it wasn't a career that she could go. So she had to pivot to find a different career.
So, so I'm kind of like trying to like balance the two.
Yeah,
things,
but I like that
an actual career and my artistic career as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I appreciate about you, because you found a way to do it. You're making it books, and that's awesome. I like that.
Thanks.
That's cool. That's very cool. Let's see. Do you collect anything? Is there anything you collect? Is there do you collect like hard copies?
Well, I am a big reader, at least whenever I can, whenever I have the time. I have collected a lot of children's books to get inspiration. And I do the occasional Funko Pops, especially Disney ones.
Yes.
And not sure if you can really see, but back there, I do still have like a lot of Blu-rays, a lot of movie sets, TV sets. So physical media all the way.
Yes, I agree. Hard agree. Because they're like changing like ridiculous things and things that won't be around anymore. Like I think, even if it's like problematic, but like you can't, like you shouldn't erase history because it was there. Yeah. Just like a random one, like the Stinky Pete joke from Toy Story 2. Like I can't believe that's gone.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
It feels weird that's gone. I mean, I do understand why, especially in light of John Lasseter. It's very problematic, but just Yeah.
I have a comment from my friend Whitney. Yes, my mom is an artist. Yeah, she always has been. She just does. She's one of those, like, what do you call it? There's like local events at like our library or like community where she'll go there and everyone's like drawing or whatever. And she'll do like something amazing. And they're like, oh my God, are you an artist? And she's like, yeah. She ran into a situation when she was younger. There was like a pageant for Native American women. And she would stitch and sewed and did all these things. And they didn't believe it was her.
Wow.
And she's like, yeah, because she was so professional. Like she had like little jewelry, dresses, all that. But they're like, who helps you with this? And they're like, no, that she did that all on her own, but they didn't believe her. But yeah, she's an artist. She's always been an artist.
It's incredible.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Like it's hard to get back into drawing because like I feel like I haven't drawn. Like the only time I actually get into drawing is like during Christmas when I do my Christmas cards. But like actually sat down and drew has like been a year.
Yeah, I really need to get back into that. That was the plan for me this summer. Try to work on my next book, do drawings for that. But
these are
wow.
These are my last ones I drew like a year ago. But I'm trying to get back into it. But let's get to the James Lipton style kind of questions. Hopefully these aren't too difficult. Hopefully they're easy. So I think everyone knows, but I want you to explain it. But like your favorite Disney movie?
Ooh, always a tough one. I really go back and forth between Fantasia and Beauty and the Beast. I guess if you want to go for like, traditional narrative versus artistic, purely, visual thing, then it's those two.
Yeah. And is there a reason why you like Fantasia? Like what stands out to you? Like what's your favorite sequence?
I saw it at a really young age. I had the VHS tape, the cassette for it, and I was hypnotized by it. And when I was a kid, my two favorites were the Nutcracker scene and the Pastoral Symphony. Whenever I would hold ballets in my living room and then just like dance around in circles to the Nutcracker in a pretty nightgown. But now that I'm older, though, Sorcerer's Apprentice is a classic. I do have a soft spot for Pastoral because I adore the colors and just this bright, funny depiction of Greek mythology. But even though as a kid, I was terrified of Night on Bald Mountain, and I was happy it came at the end so that way I could just turn the tape off, rewind it, start over again, and skip it. Now I love it.
Yes. Like I that used to terrify me, but like I took my fear and turned it against itself when I used it in my Snow White YouTube poop.
Yes, yeah. It's great.
And it matched just so well with the end of freaking Snow White. All I had to do was like put the rain effect on it, and it blended right in.
That's right.
Oh my gosh! And then the other favorite Disney movie. Why is that one your favorite?
Well, again, it's a very nostalgic one for me, but I
Mhm.
rediscovered it when it came out on the Platinum Edition, the first DVD release. And it was at the time when I felt a lot like Belle. I was an outsider, I was a bookworm, I really didn't have that many friends, and I was considered the weird one. So I related to it a lot. And I wished I could go away to a castle and just hang out with a lot of other outcasts.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But yeah, and I love the music, and
Hmm.
yeah, and it's still a beautiful story after all these
Yeah.
years.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love that one. That's probably like top tier. Oh yeah, I think it's like number 2 on my list, or number 3.
Mm.
Yeah, from that one from 9 years ago. So
Yeah, the
we have you.
soundtrack is.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I know some soundtracks, Disney things like rotate through my iPod whenever I feel like updating it, but Beauty and the Beast is usually a constant on there.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Because like one of my favorite soundtracks, and the reason why I worked with it was the Pocahontas. Oh my gosh, I love that soundtrack.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Definitely. It's always in the rotation. I think Whitney here. I think Whitney loves Pocahontas. Like that's her all-time favorite movie. And then Whitney also loves Mulan, if I recall correctly.
Mulan is great too. Oh
Yes. Mulan is so great. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I forget how good that one is. Like there's a lot of movies where I forget, like you just take them for granted. Mulan's one of them where it's like, that's great.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tarzan. I love Tarzan. Oh my god.
Yeah, I really need to revisit Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
That one was my jam back in the day.
Oh yes.
I nearly wore that tape out.
Yes. Oh my god, there's like so many great things. I remember watching the previews on VHS. I think it was Mulan, where it's like you see Phil Collins in the studio. I wanna know. It's so good. Okay, so we have your favorite princess, which is Belle.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite male hero?
Ooh.
Could be anything. Yeah.
That's another tough one. Lan's always cool. I do have a little soft spot for Flynn Rider.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really like Basil from The Great Mouse Detective. He's one that doesn't come up very often.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's so cool. Yeah, he was my Hardigan in my Sin City trailer mashup. But yeah, I love Great Mouse Detective. That was one where that was on rotation in my early days. I really love. Go ahead.
Yeah. Same, and it's still like in my top 10.
Yeah. Like I loved Rescuers. Like I really loved those mouse movies. Like I loved Rescuers. I loved Great Mouse Detective. I loved Aristocats. Oh my gosh. Speaking of like Disney and nostalgia, I'm wondering if you had this. Did you ever have the cassettes, like the music and then like the books on tape? Did you ever have those?
Yes. I had a lot of them. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. Like, do you have any example? Like, because the one I grew up with was definitely Aristocrats, Jungle Book, and I do believe Flubber. Flubber was one of them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know I had Cinderella, one of the Lion King ones, because there were a couple of different Lion Kings. Mm-hmm. I had a tape of Snow White. It didn't come with the book, but it was more like an audio play.
Yeah.
And that was a good one. There were plenty of others. I think I had Mickey's Christmas Carol. I know I had this version of Wizard of Oz that's, it kind of like just told a really abridged version of the story, then had the little clip of Over the Rainbow, and we're off to see the wizard sung at the end.
Yeah. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that brings me back. Like, I remember it was a purple cassette tape for the Flubber. And it was so funny. They would play like audio clips from the movie, and then they'd have that little to turn the page.
The little chimes.
Yep. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't even have that anymore. I think you just have like YouTube and you just hit play. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. So your favorite sidekick in a Disney movie?
Favorite sidekick? Sorry, just messing with this. Lately, I've been kind of feeling Iago from Aladdin.
Iago, okay.
I've been a little bit of a Gilbert Gottfried kick. I miss him.
Jafar, I'm stuck. Oh my god, like that stands out to me because when I lived in LA, we would drive, like we would carpool, so we all just like get inside a car or whatever. And I remember like one of the seats got stuck, and I think it was because of the seatbelt. But I was like, Jafar, I'm stuck, and it killed everybody. Like everyone was dying laughing. Oh my god, that's one of my happy memories. Yeah. Okay,
I know.
so
I tend to go, every time something disappointing happens that I could see coming, I always go, why am I not surprised? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
that and Sebastian, if we're talking like good guys, bad guys.
Oh yeah. Sebastian. Keep her and stroke her and pet her. Oh my god. So with the new Little Mermaid movie, I couldn't take the trailer serious. Oh, I heard a cat.
Yes, that is probably Mikey. Come here, boy. You want to come say hi? Come on.
Yes, we gotta get the cat on live.
Come on. Everyone wants to say hi to you. Oh, we get the door open. They'll come in a bed. We'll see.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, that always stood out to me. Let's see. Did I already say that? Who's your favorite villain?
Villains. Oh, that's a hard one.
There's so many good ones. Like they're almost better than the hero sometimes.
A lot of times, yeah.
Yes.
Right now it's kind of a three-way between Ratigan, Maleficent, and Oogie Boogie.
Ooh, those are great picks. Those are great picks. Like mine, like my always go-to is Maleficent because like she is the best. Animated, awesome. And then I think my backup one would be Uncle Scar.
Oh yeah, Scar is always a classic.
Yes. Yes. And this one's a little like I threw this in here. I'm like, who's your favorite underrated Disney character?
Underrated Disney character.
Yeah.
So one who doesn't really get a lot of attention.
Because my all-time favorite Disney character is like probably my underrated, but like Mr. Toad. He's my all-time favorite.
Oh
underrated.
Yeah, Mr. Toad is great. I've always been kind of partial to Ichabod myself.
Yes, Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I love that movie. I love the package movies. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but like someone mentioned that I love the package movies because I love fun and fancy free.
That's fun. Willie the Giant. He's one of my favorite underrated ones.
Oh my god!
I always loved him.
Yeah, me and my mom always quote him. Oh god, we're like, yeah, I do.
I don't know no Fifi.
Yes, that's the line. I was trying to remember Fifi. I don't know no Fifi. Oh my god, yes.
I didn't grow up with Fun and Fancy Free, but I did have the separate Mickey and the Beanstalk short.
Yes.
From VHS. It was narrated by Ludwig von Drake, and so that's the one I always associate with that. And yeah.
And him in the Christmas special, the Carol.
Yes, where he was
with the pistachio. Pistachio.
With yogurt.
Oh my gosh.
Choice. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And not only that. I remember when I first went to Disney World. Actually, it's my second time, but I don't count my first time because it was too young. But the first time I went to Disney World and I went to that one store with the Mickey Mouse and the Beanstalk.
Yes, Sir Mickey's, and he's peeking out. Yeah.
Yes, I remember I popped so hard. I think I cried. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Willie!" Oh my gosh, that is amazing. And then you already mentioned who you relate to. That's Belle. Okay, so we're good with that. So here's an interesting one. What's your favorite live-action Disney remake for the last couple of years?
Oh. Well, I haven't seen the Little Mermaid one yet, even though I've heard good things about it. I've
Hmm.
been a little on the fence about it, but the one
Hmm.
I do know for a fact is the one I didn't think I would like. It's the Jungle Book one. Because Jungle Book,
Really?
yeah, because Jungle Book isn't really one of my favorite Disney movies,
Hmm.
but Jon Favreau managed to like take the best bits of it and really make it work. Sort of not quite bring it up to date, but I guess sort of brought it like to my sensibilities because
Yeah.
I guess one of the problems I have is that there's not much in the way of a story or character development for any of the characters. Just
Hmm.
feels like sort of like disconnected adventures, which
Yeah.
is fine, but it can sometimes leave you wanting more. And for me, this is what this gave me that.
That's good. That's cool.
Mhm.
My personal one is Cruella because that surprised me.
Oh,
I love Cruella. Cruella, and like I like how it's even shot like Goodfellas for some shots. I'm like, what the heck? This is amazing. Because there's like camera movements where it's like zooming in, zooming out, or dolling in, dolling out.
I've been
But
thinking
yeah.
about
So,
checking it out, but I kind of got spoiled for it, so I stayed away from it. But
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That's
mhm.
like one of my favorites, and I think my second favorite live action is a guilty pleasure, but it'd be the Beauty and the Beast one.
The Beauty and the Beast one, I really liked when it came out. The flaws are a bit clearer now that time has passed,
Mm-hmm.
but there are things about it that I do like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
I do like some of the new songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh,
I really
I,
love the production
yeah.
design in it. I love that stuff in it.
Hmm.
But that's why I have to say
Yeah.
guilty pleasure because there's a lot of
I
flaws in it.
do
It's
like
not.
Josh Gad as LeFou. He was great casting. And him and Luke Evans, they were great together. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, the song I really liked, and it always stands out to me whenever I think of that. Now I almost think it's in the original one, but it's not. But it's like, now I know she'll never leave me, even as she
Evermore.
runs away. So good. I love that.
It's
Love it.
yeah, it's very good. It's not from the original, but it is
Hmm.
similar to the one they put in the Broadway show called "If I Can't Love Her," which is the
Yeah.
big Act One closer. Fun fact, though,
Hmm.
Beauty and the Beast was the first Broadway show I ever saw, and that's one of my clearest memories. Just seeing the orchestra, just staring up in awe as like the whole West Wing and the cast like turns around, and you see the Beast like coming out the window, like singing out into the night with the stars. It was beautiful.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah.
cool. That's an
Hmm.
awesome memory. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Who's your favorite Disney couple?
Couple. Ooh.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'm gonna have to go kind of modern and well, I like Eugene and Rapunzel. Though I have
Oh.
seen Elemental recently, and
Oh.
Ember and Wade really surprised me. They're great. Everyone is sleeping on Elemental. Please go see it. I know the marketing makes it look like, oh, Pixar's just doing a typical rom com. No, it is more than that. I have not gotten this emotional at a Pixar film since Coco. So yeah,
Wow.
this has my seal of approval.
That's awesome. That's high
Mhm.
praise. Yeah, I haven't seen Elemental yet. I'm not sure who my favorite Disney couple is, but I always pick them as my favorite, like prince and princess. So I guess I gotta pick them as my couple. It would be Philip and Princess Aurora.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, and specifically the blue dress, Princess Aurora.
Yes, Blue Dress Aurora for the win. And
Yes.
yeah, even though they are kind of the typical, very classic fairy tale couple where they just
Mm-hmm.
meet, fall in love, it is a beautifully done scene where they meet in the forest and dance.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of a stepping stone towards the other ones because, kind of unlike Snow White and Cinderella, you actually do see them talk a little bit. They have that great conversation like, wait, when will I see you again? Never, never. No, this evening.
Tonight. Oh my god, yes. And it's not like Snow White where he just like hops over the fence and she's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you I don't know if you already know this, but so much of what they did with Prince Philip, like with Maleficent capturing him and him having to escape, and then them
Hmm.
dancing at the clouds at the end, that was all originally planned for Snow White. But they didn't feel confident with drawing the prince yet. They could do Snow White okay. They're just worried about depicting realistic men figures. So they
Yeah.
they just put it on the back burner. They saved it for a time when they were ready. And
I
they were definitely ready by the 50s, and
Yeah.
it shows. I freaking love
Yeah.
that climax.
That whole sequence is awesome. Like that's
Yes.
where I think that's like one of my all-time favorite ones. I think it's my number one on my list. But like the animation's so beautiful, and you could tell that all the money they spent on it, because I think that's what almost made them go broke, is on screen. That is on screen.
Yes, it almost bankrupted them. It took them an entire decade, multiple directors. It was the number 2 highest grossing movie of that year, I think right behind Ben-Hur. And it still just didn't make money until it came to VHS.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's when I discovered when it hit VHS. Oh, what an era.
Yeah.
What an era, Jen. Oh, my God.
I know. Keep going back to that. But yes, that was one that got a lot of replay in our house. And, my mom, my sister, we would go pink, blue, because we love that sequence with the fairies.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so good. Jen. So in that era, because I want to dive into it. Do you I don't know if you did this, but do you remember like the grocery stores, how they would have jars of jam that would have like the little Disney stuff on there, like Pooh's Great Adventure?
Pooh's Great Adventure, Lion King 2, a lot of other ones as well. I'm trying to think. Did they have one for that Dr. Seuss show?
I think so. There was like Dr.
Seuss.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God. Yeah. What an era. Like there was so much cross energy and stuff like that before he sort of lost it. But like I do appreciate the Michael Eisner era. I'm not gonna lie. I do appreciate it. It worked. It freaking worked.
It feels like I mean, compared to some things, I do. I never thought I'd miss Michael Eisner, but
because there's like some things that just work. Because like we're talking about trailers and ads and the previews for the next movie. Like I feel like that was a big part of what he wanted to do back then. He just he just did too much of it. Okay, so what's your favorite Disney scene?
Favorite Disney scene?
Hang on. Do you want to do like something specific? I'll give you like 4 categories and you pick one of them or do all.
Oh, yeah, do that.
Okay. Happy, sad, nostalgic, or something that's special that stands out to you. Like what's your favorite Disney scene?
Okay. Happy. Something that just makes me happy. Something that just makes me. I like Under the Sea. It's just a song that always picks me up, makes me feel happy.
That's
sad. Cool. Favorite sad scene? I don't know if I would call it like a favorite, but something that I love. That does get me emotional. Is I mentioned Coco earlier. Both times we see Remember Me in the right context, where we see the flashback of Hector singing it to little Coco, and then Miguel singing it to older Coco, and she joins in, and it's really sweet. What was the third one?
Nostalgic. Like what scene makes you nostalgic?
Nostalgic. I'm gonna have to go back to Fantasia with the Pastoral Symphony.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
And then the last one, which is what is special to you, like something that like you remember and it like it's close to your heart, like that's your scene.
Something really special, something close.
So I think the special one for me, like I think like it stands out to me because I was in the theater, like the only one in the theater because it was the last showing. It was the last showing of Beauty and the Beast 3D, and I remember singing the Gaston song alone in the theater, and then the little usher came in, and I had to stop. But like that was like a special moment because I was all by myself experiencing the Beauty and the Beast animated 3D version way back in 2011. Yeah. But that's just an example, if that helps you out.
I guess kind of. I'm sorry. I'm so.
It's okay.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot
of things that have moved me that have inspired me.
Yeah.
Is anything in particular?
Is it like the scene from Up? The opening scene?
I wouldn't say that. That's
Yeah, that's that's more on the
a
sad
little
side.
on the nose.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, I guess maybe Beauty and the Beast, just seeing the transformation scene at the end. It was like I would look at that and say, that's what I want to do one day.
Yeah.
And even though it didn't go that way, I hope one day I'll create something that maybe could inspire someone like that, move them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure your work has inspired people already, you know, like your videos. Yeah. Because that's another thing, like, you know, you may forget about that, but like there's people out there watching that and wanting to make their own work. And that's alone is inspiring. Like there's some things like that where it's just like, it's incredible. It's like, you don't think about much, but like it happens. So yeah, I'm sure you've already inspired somebody to create art and do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Favorite Disney song that you would pick for karaoke?
Ooh, karaoke. I don't know if I'm much of a singer, but I would go for something really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I'll Make a Man Out of You, or just something really fun like that.
Yeah, mine would be Prepared from like.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yes, because you could do some theatrical, like some sensational news, a shiny new era. I don't want to get into it.
We'll turn to a Disney karaoke night.
Yep. We'll get flagged for copyright. No, speaking of which, I'm kind of going off subject, but like, has that ever been an issue with you with copyright stuff on YouTube? How have you avoided that?
I mean, recently that came up. I tried to do a Snow White collab, and I managed to try to keep it up for about less than a month when it got blocked. And I'm working on hopefully trying to get that fixed. I'm thinking about actually, as a matter of fact, splitting it up into smaller parts, and hopefully, maybe that'll avoid that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll be okay for a while, then out of the blue, months later, I might get a flag or a block, and someone will point that out to me because I don't always get the notifications. So then I have to like go back to the original or redo the thing just to make it fit, or unfortunately cut it out to get all together, which sucks if you put all that effort into it.
I
annoying.
Yeah. Because there's like some projects that took forever to fight. Like it took forever. I think it took like 2 months to fight my Dark Knight Returns trailer. Because I uploaded and they got blocked like 2 minutes after posting. I was like, no.
Oh.
But luckily that finally got through. I remember that the part 1 of Little Mermaid got taken down on Site B, and I had no idea. And people were like, "Where's part 1?" And then someone else uploaded. I was like, "Oh, geez, I don't want to lose out those views." So I finally found time, like 2 years later, after it got taken down, to finally upload it. And it cracked me up because one of the first comments was like, "Where's the higher quality version of this?" I'm like, "It's the OG copy. Like, it ain't a copy of a copy." Oh my gosh, some people. So let's go into the next card. So, what is your favorite Disney theme park?
I guess, it would have been MGM. Well, it's not MGM anymore. It's Hollywood Studios, but things have changed. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the great movie ride anymore. A lot of classic things I remember. I have been growing more fond of Epcot, but nowadays I guess it would be maybe Magic Kingdom, especially because I actually worked there for a time. I did the college program back in 2012.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was on Pirates of the Caribbean, and I had a blast. It was one of the best jobs I ever had.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like, I remember for a little while I wanted to work at Disney World just because, like, it just seemed like, oh man, I would love to work there. It just seems like a blast. That's awesome that you got that opportunity.
It was a lot of work, but I came away with it with a lot of memories and helped make a lot of people happy. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I would agree though. Like, I do miss MGM Studios. Because I loved the whole idea of like going on behind the scenes on the back lot. It really had like you're getting a sneak peek behind everything. And then I really did enjoy the Great Movie Ride. I remember
Yes.
I cried by writing it. I was like, oh my god, this is great, because that was like their way to get Wizard of Oz in there, and like they nailed Wizard of Oz
They did. Oh,
and
it
Mary
was
Poppins.
Mary
Yeah.
Poppins especially, and I mean, I remember being scared of the alien, but now, that, when I was old enough to appreciate it, thought, that
Mhm.
was amazing.
Yep. And
Just,
yeah. And I remember back in the day, like, because when I went the first time, but I don't remember, it was like '98, so I only have photos to help me with my memory. But back then, they had like all this flubber promotion, and it was so cool. I was like, take me back.
time I
I know this.
remember it the most was when they had the 101 Dalmatians remake. So,
Yes.
yeah, they had the puppies everywhere, and they had like this walk-in workshop that showed you how they did everything.
Oh man, that's
And
so cool.
yeah, like they had like an actual puppet Dalmatian, showed you how that worked. And they had a scene of like someone demonstrating, like, riding a bike on a blue screen to see how that, doing that
Mhm.
composite effect and things like that.
Yeah, they even got rid of the freaking art of animation.
I
It's
know. I
terrible.
missed that. I missed that most of all because that was
Yeah.
back when they had the animation studio there, and you could see the animators at work. And there goes
Mhm.
my phone.
Oh.
and, and they also had that fantastic animated film beforehand where Walter Cronkite makes Robin Williams into an animated character from Peter Pan, and yeah, I love him.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I
Oh
keep
man, I miss
forgetting
it.
Peter Pan is another nostalgic one. I mean, I got this as well.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. I almost thought I said like Neverland Tours, but it says Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Peter Pan. I think that's like number 2 or 3 on
Yeah,
my
number
list.
two.
Oh, it's number
Yeah,
2? Okay,
I
yeah.
think it was number two on your list, but
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember. Yeah, you especially like this is really Wendy's story and the irony of her
Yeah.
wanting to escape to Neverland because she never wants to grow up, but when she's there, she has to be the mature one, the mother, and
Hmm.
that's what makes her realize, that do have to grow up, but you can still have fun, and the ending is really a beautiful ending with Mr.
Hmm.
Darling because I feel like that's emblematic of like growing up and rediscovering Disney. Like you think you're
Yeah.
beyond all this immature childish stuff. You want move on. You want to move on, but then you find something that speaks to you from your past, and all the whole family standing there at the window, looking up at the ship, flying past the moon. It's like the whole family coming together again to enjoy Disney.
You're
It's
gonna make me cry
beautiful.
because that's like one of my all-time favorite scenes
I'm
because it's so
sorry.
beautiful. I love that scene because
Yeah.
it's so great because he's been such a jerk, and then like he looks up at the sky and he's like, I've seen that shit before a long time ago when I was a little boy. I was like, oh my god,
Yes.
it's
Oh,
so good, so good. Oh my god,
yeah.
it's been it's been years since I watched that movie, but I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Whew. Oh my gosh. This one's probably gonna be difficult, and it could be any era, so you don't have to be like, okay, I gotta pick now. But like favorite Disney ride.
Favorite Disney ride? I go. Well, I worked on Pirates of the Caribbean, so that's an instant one for me. It's usually, I think the last time I went there, that no, that wasn't the first one I went on. The first one I ran to was the Haunted Mansion because yeah, that there's just so much craft put into that ride.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything from the atmosphere, the music, the lighting, the gradual slide from spooky darkness, macabre to a little more lighthearted, grim
Mm-hmm.
humor. It's almost perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's so much that goes into that. And I like how the house is not even part of the ride. It's just a facade.
Yeah, it is.
The ride's not even a part of that building. I love that. That's one of my favorite parts of the Haunted
Yeah,
Mansion.
I know. I when I got there to work at the park, everything backstage is painted like this fun shade of green. It's called Go Away Green, and you'd be surprised how many of the actual rides are right close to each other, like almost like a few steps away. You
Yeah.
exit the graveyard from Haunted Mansion, you'll find yourself right outside of It's a Small World. In fact, they told me
Yeah.
one point there was like a I don't know, a technical mix up. So
Mhm.
the Haunted Mansion was playing the song for "It's a Small World," and Small
Oh my
World got
God.
grim grinning ghosts.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And
Oh
like
my
again,
gosh.
I worked on Pirates. It's right next door to the Jungle Cruise. I came
Mhm.
into work one day and they had some of the elephants and some of the rides right there up against the wall. I took a few pictures with them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Ah. You got like their actual like full on Disney
Yes, the
experience.
full bodies. In fact, after a
Yes.
while, they ended up having to put tarps and things over them so it wouldn't ruin the magic. Especially because
Yeah.
this was back in the day when if you were handicapped or had a special request to skip the lines, we had to take you all the way through the back and inside. So
Mhm.
we didn't want to have to ruin that for everyone. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, they had to go.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. That's neat. I like that. I like that a lot. I think one of my favorite ones, because they got rid of it, but I'm glad I at least wrote it once because I think out of the 3 times I went to Disney in the last couple of years, it was broke down. But the one time I wrote it, and it was the Splash Mountain. There was so much craft and animatronics
Oh,
in that. Like that
yeah.
was so cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
curious to see what they're going to do with it now because they're doing Princess and the Frog with that.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure it's gonna be much better than the last one. But like there was
I'm
so much
sure.
craft. Yeah.
It's true. I will say, a lot of those animatronics were from an older Disney ride called America Sings, and they were designed by Mark Davis, who was like one of the original artists at Disney, who became an Imagineer. So that's
Yes.
why that's why it
Yes.
has that.
Yeah. I assume you watch Defunct Land.
Yeah, I do watch the
Yes.
Funkland and
Yes.
oh oh I do watch a lot of them. I'm stuck for names, but yeah,
Yeah.
I do
I
watch a lot of theme
also
park stuff.
I used to listen to them, but I still like them. But Podcast The Ride, I really like.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? What's her name? Jenny Nicholson. She's also great.
Oh
She's
yeah.
also fun. She's fun.
Mhm.
She is fun. Let's see. Okay, so you've already told me some of these. So I guess this is one kind of difficult. Like, if there's a Disney item that you wish you had,
Hmm.
like it could, I guess it could be real or fake or whatever, but like just to make it easier. But like, what would be a Disney item that you wish you had?
I wish I had way more animation cells, like from the
Yes.
movie or for the ones that would replicate them. We have a few of them in the house that back when they would sell them, and yeah, they look really nice. There's one from Snow White, which is just of Snow White and Doc. There's one from Aladdin, which is from the end when Genie is all dressed up in the Hawaiian outfit with the goofy hat. And he's hugging everyone. And
Yeah.
then, oh yeah, there's two of Cinderella. We gave those to my mom because she sews, and we always associate that with Cinderella. So we've
Yeah.
given her a lot of Cinderella things over the years.
Hmm.
And then there's just a couple of just Mickey, Minnie, and the gang just doing whatever. It's more like promo artwork or whatever than from actual shorts. But I would love ones from the classic films.
Hmm. That's cool. That's a cool wish. I like that one.
Thanks.
Okay. So, is there any recent things that you would recommend? Is there like a movie or book or anything that you've seen or
Um,
read?
well, like I said, I saw Elemental, and
Hmm.
it's been getting a little bit better at the box office. And yeah, please go support it. I found it incredibly moving, creative, beautifully animated.
Hmm.
As for reading, well, not quite Disney related, but I did start Don Bluth's biography, Somewhere Out There.
Oh man,
Really
that's so cool.
nice.
How is that? How is that?
So far, so good. Really, some fun, interesting stories so far. And
Yeah.
he actually did some like original drawings, like to start and finish each chapter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I
I,
haven't finished it
I
yet, but see how
yeah.
it goes.
I love Don Bluth. Like he was. I feel like he's underappreciated. Like
Yeah, me too.
I love Pebble and the Penguin. I love Rockadoodle. Of course, Land Before Time and American Tail. But yeah,
American Tail.
there's some
Yeah.
I wish I have seen. But I've seen Anastasia. Anastasia. Oh my god, I'm so nostalgic for that trailer. Oh my gosh, I love Anastasia.
Yeah, Anastasia's great. Secret
Mhm.
and Nim I've really come to appreciate especially.
That's what I need to see.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see that one. Okay, so next question. When looking to be creative, what is the thing that inspires you? Creativity, spiritually, emotionally. Like, what's the go-to thing you go to for inspiration?
Well, sometimes I kind of just have to go out there and just sometimes be among people, especially creative people. You know, I guess their enthusiasm rubs off on you. Their
Mm-hmm.
inspiration. I like being around nature. I love walking in the park. There's some woods
Mm-hmm.
near my house that sometimes I go to, and yeah, that just sort of like rejuvenates me in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
That's cool. I
Hmm.
like that.
I guess
Um,
I
yeah.
yeah I've always tried to find. I fill my day with so much things that I got to do that it's important to take time for yourself, just to make something, not to post it anywhere or
Mm-hmm.
to work on a future project, but just to have fun with it in the moment. I guess just
Mm-hmm.
being in the moment is something I always try to remember to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always important because sometimes you get too busy trying to post or think of something, and it's like, nah, you just gotta live the moment, live in the
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay. So, what is your favorite part of your profession?
Well, my job at the library is I work with kids. I'm the lead tutor of the after school program. And we usually get a bunch of regulars who come in who are very excited to see me. I try to find ways to make learning fun, and they respond very well usually. And during the last week before school ended, they were coming in with their tests and their report cards and showing me how well they did. They asking if they did good, and they did really good. I'm so proud of them. I helped with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm.
You're already affecting people. You're affecting the next generation. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. What other profession would you like to attempt if you could? Or I guess you kind of are because you're doing the illustration for the books.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Well, one of the first things I wanted to do was to do storyboarding for Disney or for
Mm-hmm.
just about any animation studio, really. Because
Mm-hmm.
I originally wanted to animate because I just love the art, the craft of it, the the drawing. But my heart always goes to why the character is doing this. How did they accomplish this? What are they thinking? I love the story building aspect of that. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to bring the two together, do storyboarding.
Mm-hmm.
That, and when I was really little, I wanted to be on Broadway. So in a
Mm-hmm.
way, that's part of storyboarding involves pitching it to others and doing like that acting element as well.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, you kind of do that with some videos, right? You don't like do storyboards, but you do tell stories using the other movies, correct? Is that
Yes,
one of the
I
video series?
have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that your way to like tell stories without doing all that, or because I would love to see you do like a storyboard video just to using your
I've
drawings.
I've always wanted to do animatics as well. Again, it's another
Mhm.
thing I want to take the time to work on. I have ideas for that as well.
That's good. That's
So
good.
yeah, we'll
So that's
see.
good that you have them. You have them in the back pocket. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I have that. I have the
That's cool.
dreams. I'm got to build up the drive and make the time.
Yep. The time's always the difficult thing, and
The
usually,
time. Who's
yeah.
got the
Who's got the
time?
time?
I was
you
watching Alice in Wonderland with my friends the other day. And yes,
Oh my god!
yeah.
Like me and my mom quote that so many times. Like we do the 2 days slow. Like you have the 2 days slow, and like she has this friend. Like okay, so funny backstory. So like her lawnmower, she wanted to get fixed, and she invited her friend to go fix it, and she bought the parts. Like all he had to do was bring the tools and just swap the parts. She already bought them, and I kept saying like he's gonna tear it apart, he's gonna break it, he's gonna say lemon and jam, that's gonna go and then he'll be like, no, it's 2 days slow. Like he's gonna break the little because she bought like this little screw like as a backup. But I'm like, he's gonna break the screw, the thing's gonna fall apart, and he's gonna be like, oh, he says 2 days slow, 2 days slow. And she's like, no, it's not gonna happen. She's like, oh god, it's gonna happen. But luckily it didn't happen, but he did end up cleaning it more than he should have. And we're like, just stop it. Just swap the pieces. You don't have to do too much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
that's the one that gets quoted in my friend group a lot, especially mustard. Don't let's be silly.
Yes, mustard. Let's not be yelling. Lemon. That's different. Oh my gosh. So, in your friends group, like, is there any other like quotes that you quote often from Disney?
Well, Sleeping Beauty is another one. Those are
Mhm.
like the top two. A lot from, yeah, we go to that a lot. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. And I think those are like the top four that
Yeah.
we tend to bandy around a lot. And
Yeah.
Lion King sometimes, especially because one of our friends in the group doesn't really care for Lion King, so we do it just to spite him.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Mine are definitely Alice in Wonderland. We quote a lot. We quote Winnie the Pooh all the time. Like the one we quote from Winnie the Pooh all the time because I was like Heffalump and Woozles. And then the other one I always do whenever I see my mom. And I think it's because it's from Winnie the Pooh when he goes into her or his house. I think it's him. I always thought Rabbit was a girl, but it's not. It's a guy. So like he goes in the house like, "Hello, Rabbit." I love that. "Hello, Rabbit." So whenever I see my mom, it's like, "Hello, Rabbit." And then it's a reference to that episode where I think it's the episode where Rabbit is like training with Tigger for some reason from the animated show from the early 90s. And Tigger goes like, "Rabbit." And like for some reason, like Tigger and Rabbit have to swing from a tree and they go to the ground, but like he's always like going like "Rabbit" in that episode. I love it. But I quote that. And then one from Jungle Book that we always quote is, "Hey, he's got a knot in his tail." Because whenever like someone gets a shoelace or their shoelace is dragging, we always say he's got a knot in his tail.
Another one from Jungle Book. Whenever if the conversation gets circular, hey now, don't start that again.
Yes.
What you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do? So what do you want to do? Oh my gosh, I love it. So I think that's all my questions. Is there anything that you want to talk about that you've always wanted to talk about with me?
Man, I guess I don't know, but I don't know if we went over it already or not. Like the inspiration for your videos. Which ones are you the proud of? I feel like I'm regurgitating the questions you asked back at you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'd love to know more about you.
Yes. So for those videos, like back in the day, like so when I lived in LA, that's between like 2009 and 2011, didn't really have a hard drive, so I could only do so much. And then I moved back home, and like in 2012, that was like my take a break year. You went to school. You over the summers you went over to Europe and then you went back to school, so like you never had any time off. So I was like, take a break. So in 2012, I would watch all the Disney movies. So I went to the library and just got a whole stack of Disney movies, watched them, and got a hard drive. Copied all those movies after I watched them. As I watched them, made notes, and just went hog wild on YouTube. So that's that whole era of like Scooby Doo, Little Mermaid, Snow White. Yeah, that was that era. And just like with those videos, it was always something that I was nostalgic for, like an obscure reference, like "Look out" from the 101 Dalmatians trailer, because they used that clip twice in the trailer, and that always stuck out to me. So I wanted to use that audio clip in the YouTube poop. And then there was just like random things that I would throw in there from life, like I love going to Buffalo Bison's games, so like one of the gags in the Pocahontas YouTube poop is like drop. So that was a reference to, like, I think there was like a strikeout and someone dropped the ball and they got like 3 runs, and then they would play that drop over the stadium. So that's some references there. And then like back then I had like a different mindset. So like when I would watch a movie, I would be like, I see that connection. I see that connection. I see that could go here. That could go here. Like the Marahute with Pocahontas, when that big giant Marahute flies and then it gets caught by the thing. It's like, oh my God, that's perfect. I got her. Did you see that? And then just the, quickly. Like I was inspired by Waxinator. He was definitely like the top tier. Orpheus for the Win, a little bit crazier. He's the one who did Skooks, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Durham Rockers, he did the King of the Hill videos. Because there's some of those King of the Hill ones that just made me crack up. Like there was one where like it's the episode of the tornado, and it's like Bill going, "I can't hear you," and they would do like that repeating thing. I was like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious." And then what other YouTube poop of that era? I think there was another one. I don't know his name. I think it might have been Captain Pan. I think that was his name.
Yeah, Captain Pan. Yeah,
Yeah,
he still makes stuff. He's still, he's still good.
Yeah, he's still good. Yeah, because I think it was the one he did the episode 1 Phantom Menace YouTube poop that inspired me. I'm like, wow, you could do all that. I think it was that video where I'm like, oh, it just could be wild. It doesn't even have to be perfect. Because when I saw Waxinator, I was like, oh my god, so it has to be perfect. But when I saw like Captain Pan, I think like, oh, it could be not, you could have rough edges. Yeah. So there was that, and then like as I got confident, because like when I started, I was like totally not confident. Like I would do like one movie for one mashup, you know what I mean, with the trailer mashups. And then when I did the YouTube poop, I got more confident using tons of different movies and elements. So that's when I'm like, okay, I think I could handle doing fan trailers now. So that's when I started going to fan trailers, and I had like a whole like, I don't know if you remember, but I had like a Tumblr, and I had this whole list of like ideas I wanted to do. And I've done most of those ideas because some of them were like different ideas, and now I've mashed them together. Like a huge example of something I've mashed together was like I wanted to do an Ultimate Bruce Willis movie trailer, and then I wanted to do a 90s Dark Knight. But then I ended up mashing those ideas together. Like, you know what? I'm just going to have Bruce Willis as Batman and then do my 90s Dark Knight anyway, because that's all I have to plug in, But there's all that.
It's really clever. I know your trailers are great. Like it's almost like a what if, or like this alternate universe of films that could have happened.
Yeah. Because like some of them are like that. The what if definitely is the Universal Monster one. I think that one was inspired by because I was watching Cinemassacre on YouTube, and like he offhandedly said like, oh yeah, there's like a weird like 90s universe that we never really knew. I'm like, yeah, you're right, they're all there. How about I make a trailer where they're all in one movie? Yeah.
Hang on, I think did Mickey just come in?
Oh, did he come in finally? Is he going to be on camera? Is he going to be on camera?
Wait. Is he? Oh, that's TC. That's my older cat, but he is here. Come on, boy. Come on.
Get him on camera.
Come on, boy. Say hi.
Yes, a cat.
We got a cat. And
yes.
Of course, Mikey's coming in because he's jealous. It's okay.
And what's this cat's name?
TC.
TC. Ah.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
You can go.
Perfect. But yeah, that's what basically inspired me back then for that. But I've been trying to get back into it the last couple of years, at least ever since I saw Twin Peaks: The Return, because that really inspired me. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. Inspiration can come from anywhere. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely want to do like a mashup because like they all sort of take place in the same world, and I always had an idea that whenever I reference Pocahontas jumping in the different videos, I always assume that's happening at the same time. So like if it's a universe when she's falling into the water in all the different videos, like that's happening at the same time in the other videos.
That's quite literally the jumping off point, or the mesh, or the convergence point, I guess. Yeah,
it totally can be. Oh my gosh, I never even thought of that. Yes. And then like, oh my god, then there's just like some references I would throw in because like I was so movie heavy with mine, like the Dapper Dan floating in the water of the Iron Giant. I was like, oh man, that's so clever or whatever. Like and then there's just like some things where I would just like the whole Snow White thing. I edited myself into a corner where I didn't have enough for a part 3. Where I was like, part 3 is gonna be like 2 minutes. It's gonna be like nothing, maybe 30 seconds. So I was like, how can I salvage this? Because I was like, oh god, I didn't really think this through. So I was like, oh, the part 3 will just be the whole combining parts 1 and 2, adding some more jokes to really like pull it all together and make it like a steady narrative until the end. And that really saved the project, honestly. I felt just making the whole one together, because part 3 really had nothing. I was like, there's nothing here.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but that was cool, and that was the thing that made me go like, I felt like Homer when he's angry at the rod in the parking lot. But that was my first what do you call it, request video, because someone said, hey, you should do Snow White, and I did it, and that person never contacted me back ever.
Oh, yeah.
So
I know. Like, I've gotten requests from a lot of people for a lot of interesting things. It's been interesting.
I don't know if do you want to talk about that? Because I'll tell you mine. Yeah. My most interesting request. So I made the little TV spot of it's a joke, because I was doing the songs from the Labor Day TV spot. So I did the Back to the Future and Texas Chainsaw. But someone commented on the Back to the Future one and said, hey, can you do a full video about Marty and Lorraine? And I'm like, I don't think so. No. And then they're like, well, can you do Marty and Lorraine, but like they're Jasmine and Aladdin? And I'm like, maybe. But then this person kept messaging me over months because I said maybe, and because I didn't want to hurt their feelings too much. But after a while, I'm like, I'm not going to make the video. I had to just say, like, I'm not going to make the video, because I'm like, that's weird. Do a Marty and Lorraine video? I'm like,
yeah, I don't think there's really enough footage of Marty and Lorraine to really make a video of, unfortunately.
No. And I thought that was a bit much. I was like, no. Because I just did it as like a little 30-second joke. That's all it's supposed to be. But I'm like, I can't make a whole video on that.
Yeah.
So what was yours? Did you have any weird requests like that?
Yeah, it's one that I get pretty often. It's, can you please make a trailer or something of this with this character in this role, this character in that role? Like, they'll have the entire cast list typed in. One that comes to mind was way back when I did a trailer mashing up The Wizard of Oz with Little Nemo: Adventures in Slumberland, the animated movie.
Yes.
And someone said, can you please do Pilgrim's Progress with Little Nemo and this and this? I was like, what the heck is Pilgrim's Progress? I had to look it up. It's like this allegorical, very on the nose Christian story, which I don't know. I never heard of. I have no interest.
Oh my god.
So
oh my god.
I tend to just ignore those requests unless they get very pestery, and then I have to firmly say no.
Yeah. Oh my god. Speaking of which, I think there was one time where I did get like a Christian video like request, and I'm like, have you seen my videos? I don't jive that way. Because it was just like, I was almost like put off. I'm like, really? You would expect me to do something like that? I don't know. I was taken aback. But speaking of like most requested trailers, I think my most requested fan trailer is a Spider-Man one. I've heard that for 10 years. And I'm like, everyone's done it. I'm not going to do a Spider-Man trailer. But I have entertained the idea, because now I've done most of my vanity projects, because the Kristen Stewart project, the Batman DC Universe projects, those have, like, even the Kaiju one, the Godzilla one, that was all vanity. That's like all ideas I've had since like starting in 2008, 2009. But like, I'm like, since I did all those, maybe I could finally do a Spider-Man one. So the idea would be Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Spider-Man, and then he finds out he has cancer, and he has like one last adventure as Spider-Man.
Oh,
that would be the trailer.
Yeah, using 50/50. That was the name of the movie, right? Yeah.
Yep, using 50/50. And I think if I wait long enough, like maybe it could happen, because there's a new Craven movie, and there's like Morbius. So like if I wait long enough, it could be possible to actually make it entertaining.
Yeah, that sounds good. That could really work.
Yeah. And the song I want to use is the parody song that, do you know the Auralnauts? They're the ones who did the
name sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're the ones who did like the recuts of Star Wars to make it seem like a Auralnauts.
Yeah.
Yes, Auralnauts. Yeah. they did a parody song of "You Spin Me Right Round, Baby, Right Round." I want to use that for the Spider-Man because it makes sense because like you spin me around as a Spider-Man. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that'd be so perfect. So that's the idea. That's the nugget of the idea I have for a Spider-Man trailer because I've finally done my vanity projects. They're all almost done.
That's
I'm trying to think if there's anything I could, like other like is there any other things you had about me? Like any like videos like specifically like, oh my god, this video. Like where'd you come up with that?
oh, I guess just where did you and I'm always amazed when I go back to those mashups, how many ideas you work, how many references you use, and yet it just feels so organic. Like, oh, I wish I'd come up with that joke because he did
Yeah.
it's so good with it. Like, so where do you find? I guess where do you find the time to watch all these movies? What inspires you to check them out, and then I guess make that connecting thread? Or
Yeah.
did I ask that already? Did I?
No. You're good. No, you're good. You're good. No, you haven't asked that one. So like when I was growing up, I watched a ton of movies. So like you, like my mom would had all these movies. So like she would buy all those Disney clamshells. So I grew up with Rescuers, Pinocchio, Snow White, all the heavy hitters, the classic ones. Like I didn't grow up with like more modern ones like Lion King 2 or 1.5. I didn't grow up with those modern ones. I grew up with the classic. So that's why like a lot of times I'm referencing that era.
Right.
So that's why I'll throw in like a Rescuers music cue and like, oh my god, like why would you think that? Like who's thinking that?
I know. I appreciate that because again, I grew up that too. So that's perfect.
Yeah, but yeah, so back then I had all those Disney movies, and also my mom was like one of those people who was like, "You're going to see whatever I'm watching." So I would see like all these movies that I probably shouldn't have been watching as like a young child, but I was able to understand and comprehend like what was real, what was not real, and just like see a whole vast of movies when I was growing up. Yeah. And then at my grandma's house, like she had like all like the heavy hitters. Like to me, what I consider heavy hitters, but like to everyone else, it's like really those are the ones that you inspired you. But like as a kid, I would always be excited to go to my grandma's because she had Hunt for Red October, Con Air, Armageddon, Lion King. Because I never had Lion King because my mom was afraid that because it was a family of divorce, so she's like a father movie that might be sad to watch. But I was okay. Didn't even like went over my head. The Matrix. Last Action Hero, Point Break, Terminator, True Lies, Kindergarten Cop. So there's like a lot of movies where I was like an Arnold kid and all that stuff.
My grandma had Kindergarten Cop as well. That got a lot of play in her house too. So it's still one of my favorites.
Yeah, and my mom would record movies on VHS, so there'd be like 3 movies on one. So it'd be like Terminator 2 plays right into What About Bob, and then Rambo 3.
My dad did the same thing.
Yeah.
So we would have Fern Gully go to American Tail, Fievel Goes West, goes into Land Before Time, like 3 or 4 different TV shows or whatever on this thing, a whole thing of like 8 Christmas specials. It was a golden era.
It's definitely a golden era. Oh my god. Because there'd be like so many movies, and then like we grew up in I don't know if you did this. I certainly did, but I would like record SNL and then watch it the next day and then like just like study like the skits and just like realize what's funny, what's not funny. And then like even the commentary tracks I would listen to of The Simpsons and just being like inspired by hearing their stories about like storytelling, it was just incredible.
I was crazy about the commentary for Disney when they came to to Blu-ray, to Platinum, to DVD. Learning all about that. So that's about those bonus features too.
All those bonus features. Oh my god, there were so many bonus features. Oh wow. Like I don't know if you ever had a favorite one, but like my favorite one, I mentioned it in a previous stream, but one of my favorite special features, it wasn't Disney, but it was on the Die Hard DVD, and it actually one of the stepping stones of getting me into editing. But like they had like alternate takes from Die Hard, and like you had to re-edit the scene. So like it was the scene of Mr. Takagi at the table when he gets shot in the head, and there was like 3 different angles that they filmed, there was like one that's more graphic for its front of his face where you see him go like this.
Ooh.
And then there's like one more graphic where you just see like the back of his head, and then there's the one of the door. And that taught me like, oh, showing it graphically doesn't work. It works more when you just see it hit the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
always the things you don't see, because your mind fills in the blanks. It makes it terrifying. That's why the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre works so well.
Yeah. Yeah. And the original Seven. Oh my God. So like, Jen, I was obsessed with the movie Seven in 5th or 6th grade. I forget which one. But like me and my friend Tony, we would always talk about it. And we would talk about like the storyline and like how well it's done. And like we were in 5th and 6th grade, so we should have been like watching Shrek.
I know I was the one who was watching like all the cartoons and stuff. My parents always like waited till I was in bed to break out, the harder things. They sheltered me a little bit, which I understand absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that helped me to appreciate a lot more when I was older. And
yeah. But yeah, like I think my mom tried that, but it just didn't work because there was one time where like I didn't get sleep, so I snuck to see what they were watching. And when I went to sneak what they were watching, it was Child's Play 2, and it was the scene when Chucky rips his hand off the cage and then shoves it on the blade, and he's just like, ah! I was like, so that was my awakening into horror, and I was probably like 3 or 4 years old at the time. But I love movies ever since. I'm a huge movie guy, and I'm a huge horror guy. Like I have a whole horror movie shelf right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's my Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was a huge one as a kid. I think you could tell that with all my references I do to Ninja Turtles. Damn!
I think that was the first time I heard that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so good. But yeah, so it is getting late, and I don't want to keep you too long.
Oh, yeah. And again, I apologize for running as late as I did.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But is there anything like we could wrap up in a little bit? But like, is there any other thing you want to talk about, like specifically, like while we're here?
I guess if you're working creatively, doing whatever, how do you avoid burnout?
Oh, the thing that's hard, because I was going to ask you this question, but like I passed by it because I was like, I can't move. But like burnout, like I could not avoid that for YouTube poop. That's why I had to quit. Like I had to quit because I couldn't keep up with the memes. Because I remember like towards the end, people were like, well, this one's not as good as the last one. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of running out of like references, because like I think I've done like almost like every movie that I love as a thing. Because I remember people were like, oh, you should do something with Predator. You should have had Predator this YouTube poop. It's like, no, I already worked with Predator for the Die Hard versus Predator versus Alien. Like since I did that, I don't have to do anything else. That's how I saw it. And I don't know how to avoid burnout, because it does happen. Because like the reason why like I didn't do anything for 2 years is because at work I was making videos at work. So like for 2 years I didn't really work on anything, just because I was working at videos. But now that things have slowed down at work with video wise, I've been trying to get back into it, and I finally finished the Kristen Stewart project. It has been like literally 9-10 years in the making, just to wait for like. That's the other thing, was like patience. Because I'm a perfectionist, because you've seen my videos. It's like, how does he do this? Like, why does he do this? Because it's just patience. I literally had to wait because I really wanted to use Kristen Stewart. I'm like, she's the one for the role for that I want to do. It can't be anybody else. And like I tried to do it back then in 2013, 2012.
And she didn't have a lot of movies under her belt then.
Exactly. So like I had to wait 10 years for those movies to really fill in, and just to like do research, because that's another thing. I don't do you do research before you do videos? How do you do research?
Well, if I think of a joke and I think of a line or a moment, like I've seen this before, but where, I'll try to comb through as much as I can from other movies and things. And if not, I might ask around.
Yeah.
And eventually, if it either comes, or if it doesn't, I try to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Or come up with like a different, like a similar joke.
Yeah. Because there's just, because like with like whenever I do a fan trailer, because it's sort of, I guess it's similar with YouTube poop. Because what I do is like I usually look up video ideas. Like if I have an idea, like you, I probably have a list of ideas of all these references I want to do, and before I have to rip the DVD, can I find it on YouTube first? For YouTube specifically, like YouTube poop specifically. If it's like for my mashups now, I literally have to rip the DVD. Like I'm too like OCD.
Yeah.
It's like I need to rip the DVD. I need to rip the Blu-ray. I have to do
need
that
the
for
highest quality clips and
yeah. But that's for like my fan trailers because that it's like I need those to look good now. My YouTube poop, I don't care. That could be like low quality, high quality. It doesn't matter. In my opinion, that's me. Um, but I haven't done a modern one. I might get OCD when I start working on it. But what I usually, yeah.
Sorry.
But what I no, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to make sure I finish my thought. So I make a list of all my ideas, go to YouTube, and I make a playlist of all these videos. And I do this for fan trailers as well, where I do like all these movies. Like, for example, like if I'm doing like a Gone Girl with Harrison Ford and Julia Roberts, I do all the research of all the Harrison Ford trailers and movies that go with. He says something in that trailer that has a line that helps me, or there's like an editing thing I like from that trailer. I put that in the playlist, and then I look up other movies like, okay, that fits into this, what I need. I need to rent this movie, or I could use this clip from this trailer. Okay, they don't say that in the movie, but they say it in the trailer, so I have a whole playlist on YouTube. And I usually start from there. Like when I did the last program, or the final program, I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole playlist of like all these references. So like I could probably send it to you and you could be like, oh my God, this is a whole extensive thing of like all the references I drop in that video. And some of them are probably not there because sometimes as you're editing, you realize like, that doesn't work. Well, that one works. Let me do something different. But yeah, I usually do playlists on YouTube before I do that. Like I do tons of research. And I think this research strategy started 7 years ago because I just saw it on my Facebook, but 7 years ago when I did the Jurassic World 1978 trailer, that's when I started doing the massive research for videos before I did them.
Yeah, I think I saw you mention in the description or one of the comments about that. If you know an actor that could work, but he doesn't say the particular line, you take it from another source. I even remember that when I made kind of a fake trailer. I did like sort of like what if Disney did Harry Potter and I did like Hiro Hamada goes to the Magic Kingdom instead of Ron and Hermione, it's Peter Pan and Wendy. And I used a bit of Catherine Beaumont talking from Alice in Wonderland with Wendy. So because same actress, same voice actress.
Yeah, because I feel like editors don't really, because I don't want to like put them down, but I feel like we have thousands of movies. And I think you're not guilty of this because you're always creative and you're always using like obscure references and all that. So you're good. You're good. But like there's some people out there who just like do a deep fake and they just use the same 3 movies. And it's like, no, you have thousands of movies, hundreds and thousands of movies out there. Use them. And we have the technology. We could do this.
Right. I know, but there's a lot of sources that I just keep going back to, and I know I'm always worried that I'm going to get too repetitive or too stale. But
that's the other fear.
Yeah,
that's the other fear. Like I sort of have that now because like I love Bruce Willis movies, but I don't know if I could pull off another Bruce Willis trailer. Like if I do like one more, it would have to be like the last one because I feel like I've used every line. Everything that I've had memorized because I'm a huge fan. Like he's my all-time favorite actor. Like I've used everything. So like I don't like if I made one more, I think that would be like the bottom. Like that would be it. Like I'd be like the old man from Santa Claus Coming to Town. I've used all my magic. All I have left is corn and some candles that make reindeer fly. So I wouldn't know what the last project would be like. It would have to be either the Justice League, which I don't think I don't even know if I could make that work with the cast I want, or like just do like another sequel, like a mid sequel, like either like an old Bruce Willis or a young like a midquel. Because right now, like in the universe, so like the first one would be Batman, and then the sequel would be Batman versus Superman. and then it would be Justice League in there, and then the next one would be The Dark Knight Returns. But I would have to choose, like, does this Batman take place before Justice League, or do I want to do one that takes place after Returns?
Yeah.
Like, I would have to do one or the other. I can't
maybe
do both.
like a Batman Beyond, where he's mentoring the next Batman, or
Yeah. Like, I sort of want to keep in the Frank Miller thing, 'cause, like, the Frank Miller did Strikes Back. I think that's what it's called.
yeah.
I found my old notes, because what I usually do on Twitter, I don't usually do it on like anywhere else, because it's usually on Twitter where I could actually keep my ideas and bookmark them. But I actually found my mood board where it's like I take images and ideas and just like, okay, this is the idea. If I come back to it, I'll come back to it. But the mood board was like Tom Hanks is a hologram president, because in the comic book there's a hologram president. But there was like a viral video he did like a year or two ago, like during the pandemic, and it seems like very fake president. Like you could add like a little glitch. I'm like, oh man, that'd be so cool. And then like there's like some clips from Blade Runner 2049 of the big giant hologram lady. And then there's like a movie where Bruce Willis is like wearing huge armor. And I'm like, oh man, that would be perfect for Strikes Back, because like all those visuals are in that comic. But there's things like that. Mm-hmm. So is there anything you're working currently now that hasn't been released yet that you're doing research on?
Well, right now I'm getting started on a Nightmare Before Christmas YouTube poop, and it's going to be a collab with some others, and it's still open. So if anyone here does YouTube poops, you're welcome to come join.
Yes.
And yeah, because Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my all-time favorites, and it's turning 30, so it's going to be for its 30th anniversary.
And I'm sure you know this, but do you remember the total nostalgia of that VHS trailer? I believe it was on Pinocchio, where they showed the behind-the-scenes.
I remember a little bit of that. My main nostalgia for Nightmare Before Christmas was from the Return to Jafar VHS tape.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because yeah, I didn't have a lot of the direct-to-video sequels, they don't exactly hold up. But that trailer was, told the whole story, made it so exciting and fun, and yeah, I have a lot of good memories associated with Nightmare Before Christmas, so I can't wait.
Yeah. The mayor is my all-time favorite character from that movie.
He's great. Yeah. I always loved Sally.
Yeah. Oh, Sally, of course. Sally's the best. I don't know if I ever said this to you, but like one of my all-time, like if I had a Disney, like, hey Frank, you want to make a Disney movie? I'd be like, I want to do a live-action Sally movie starring Anna Taylor-Joy. It'd be perfect. I'd be like, yes.
They did do kind of like a sequel novel recently that's about Sally. About how she becomes the Pumpkin Queen because she and Jack are together. So you never know.
That's cool. So with that being said, I think that's cool. So is there anything that you want to recommend, like any of your social medias that you want to
I'm not on Instagram that much, but if you want to check out some of my artwork there, it's at Jen Seggio. That's also my Twitter, where I'm not on very much because it drives me insane. And yeah, I do have a Facebook page as well for my artwork, and of course TheITinFIT on YouTube, and my blog again. If you want to check that out, it's uponshelfreviews.wordpress.com, and I do have a Patreon for it as well. So I try to get a review out at least once a month. So definitely go check it out.
That's cool. Thank you. I think we definitely should do this again sometime, like maybe a brainstorm session episode, or maybe like
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Like maybe like a collab idea or something. I don't know. Like I feel like
a collab idea or something I talked about doing with my friends is like, how would we rewrite or redo this movie to make it good or better?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I like that idea. But yeah, I think we should definitely do that, because I think like we both have like a similar mindset. Like, yes, we should do this, or like, how can we do this? And not only that, but like we could help each other out. Like, oh yeah, if you need a line from there. Like, for example, I want to help you out. Like, do you ever use Get Yarn? Do you know what Get Yarn is?
Get Yarn? I don't think so, no.
So I discovered this a few years ago, because when I was trying to find references for Twitter, just as like, like a meme, there is a website called Get Yarn, and it has like every movie quote. So if you need a specific line you're looking for, you could type in the line, and it'll give you like all this list of like little GIFs and little clips from movies. And it's like, oh man, this helps me out. Because I remember that helped me out for several fan trailers. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely going to have to remember that.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah. So thank you for joining me. And thank you for those who watched today. This has been amazing. I like it.
Thank you for having me on, Frank. This has been a real pleasure. It has.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And like the pleasure's all mine because I've been wanting to talk to you for years, like honestly. And you were one like the early.
Same, yeah.
Yeah. You were one of like the early people and supporters when I started doing all my YouTube poop and all that. So that's great. Thank you.
Thanks. And when I started doing YouTube poops, you were a big inspiration to me. So yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
So, thank you again.
Yeah. Yep. You're welcome.
Looking forward to next time.
Yep. So take care, everybody.
You too. Have a great night.